This is the Bringing Business to Retail podcast, and today we're talking about 3 seriously simple but super effective personal touch points that you can use to enhance the customer experience and, as a bonus, get repeat customers.
Welcome to the Bringing Business to Retail podcast on SelenaKnight.com. Stay ahead of the competition by opening your doors to business experts so you can learn, grow, and be inspired. Passionate about bringing business strategies to independent retailers, please welcome your host, Selena Knight.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of the Bringing Business to Retail podcast. If this is your first episode, welcome. And for those of you who have been listening for quite some time, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to listen to my little strategies about how you can grow your retail and e-commerce business. I am so pleased that you have, so thankful that you've given just that bit of time out of your day to share it with me. And so today's episode comes with a bit of a disclaimer, and that is what I'm going to talk to you about is not rocket science. It's actually simplicity at its best. So I don't want you to be underwhelmed about what I'm going to share with you, because the perfection is in its simplicity. And you'll probably be kicking yourself that something so simple was so easy to overlook. In this day and age, you can pretty much buy anything you want, anywhere you want, anytime you want, right? I mean, Amazon has pretty much conquered most of the channels. So when it comes to sales and revenue, getting customers to come back and buy from you is a cheaper, way more effective strategy than constantly churning through customers and constantly searching for more people to buy from you. And you know that word churn, right? So churn basically means customers that come and then go. So that's your churn rate. Now, of course, you have to be topping up your customer funnel, always. So let me just be super clear here. Yes, you need to be filling up your customer funnel every single day, but not at the expense of your existing customers. You are always going to have customer churn. That's when you lose customers. And in reality, customers leave for one of 2 reasons, I reckon. The first one would be that they've simply come to the end of their customer lifetime journey with you. Essentially, they've simply grown out of the need for your product. And so my store was a perfect example of that. My stores sold baby goods, and we only served pregnant women and babies and toddlers up to the age of 2 years old. So if my customers didn't have any more kids, then they just didn't need my products anymore. There was no need for them to come back to my store. So that's one of the first reasons that you can get customer churn. And if it isn't that, the second reason is they just don't consider your store to be of value anymore. So they found somewhere else to shop. And that's a really broad statement, because why they don't find your store of value could be maybe they weren't happy with your service. Maybe they didn't like the products that you stocked. Maybe they bought something from you and they weren't impressed with the quality, or delivery took too long. There are so many reasons that customers can choose the competition, but essentially it all comes down to the fact that they just didn't get what they wanted from your store. And with a new customer costing on average around $35 to acquire, and yes, that is an official stat, you can bet your bottom dollar, did you get the pun there, that you want to keep that customer that you have paid to acquire for as long as possible and get them spending from you as much as possible. So I just said that customers have 2 reasons for churning or for leaving your store. They either outgrow your store or they're not happy. Now, fixing the first part about them growing out of your store, that's quite difficult and quite expensive. So let's just leave that one for now. But keeping customers happy and building a connection with them, that is totally something we can enhance. Do you want to know how? Well, we can do this using super simple conditional formatting in your post-purchase email sequence. Now, maybe that sounds a little bit more difficult than what it actually is. So let me explain this a little bit more. Right now, if someone purchases from you, and this is relevant for both in-store transactions and for e-commerce transactions, but right now, when someone purchases from you, what happens on the customer's end? Do they get emailed an order of confirmation? Or do they get a receipt emailed to them? And just as a side note here, yes, you totally should be emailing receipts if you have a shop front from your point of sale. And just as an added bonus, if your point of sale integrates with an email marketing program like Klaviyo, you know how much I love Klaviyo, you will actually be able to get customer insights that will help you enhance the customer experience even further. You'll be able to do some predictive analytics, but that's a whole different episode. But what I'm saying is, when a customer buys from you, what happens? They get their order confirmation email, or hopefully they get their receipt emailed to them. Now, if this is just a generic order confirmation or a generic receipt, then you are missing an amazing chance to connect with your customer and move them through the customer journey, hopefully to being a repeat purchaser. And this is where you can incorporate one of those 3 personal touch points. In fact, one of those 3 super simple personal touch points. And yes, this is so super simple that you will wonder why you haven't done this before. But the results can be game changing. That's why I wanted to share this with you today. So using conditional formatting, which is just simply giving an email flow or even an email automation a set of data. So using conditional formatting, you can set this up in literally minutes in your email marketing platform. The template that the customer receives with their order confirmation or their receipt is customized, wait for it, depending on where they are in the customer journey. So let me explain that a little bit more. For example, if a customer comes to you and they have never purchased from you before, when they got emailed their receipt or the email that you send out after they purchase, you would customize that message with something along the lines, something personalized based on the fact that they haven't shopped with you before. So an example could be something like, "Thanks for shopping with us. We know you have so many places that you could choose to shop, and we seriously love that you've chosen to come to us." Now, if you gave that to an existing customer, yeah, it kind of works. But for a new customer, I feel a bit of love if I read something like that. So this is where you have to get a little bit creative, and you may have to write these a few times until you really bring through your brand voice and also what your customer relates to in your business. But the first super simple personal touch point is for the people who have not purchased before, customizing a message with something that is relative to the fact that they are brand new into your brand. Brand new into your brand? Does it make sense? So that's the first touch point. The next touch point that you can add into your conditional formatting is, you guessed it, with people who have shopped with you before. But maybe they aren't your frequent or high spending shoppers. So we are talking about a little bit of segmentation here, but this is what conditional formatting is. It is basically just setting some parameters. So you would set some parameters you would set some parameters that dictate that this email goes to someone who has purchased before, but maybe has purchased less than a number of times, like maybe less than 5 times in the last year, or has spent less than X amount of dollars. So you're less frequent, but still a returning shopper. And you could customize that order confirmation or receipt to say something along the lines of, "Thanks for shopping with us again," or "It's super great to have you back," and insert their first name there. So "It's super great to have you back, Sal." As a result, I do feel like you care about the fact that I've spent my money with you, and you're acknowledging that you know that I've been here before, as opposed to that first email that said, "We're glad to have you on board." And then, of course, there are your frequent shoppers. These are your customer royalty, and you already know that these people should be treated differently, right? So why are you sending them the exact same communications that you're sending someone who has only just purchased from you? That has to stop, because your customer royalty should be treated like royalty. So depending on who your ultimate customer is, maybe you want to phrase your touch point as something that connects with them. Maybe it's something like, "Hey there, Rockstar, great choice." Or, "Hey there, Sal, we knew you had great taste, but this one just upped your street cred." Again, you're acknowledging the fact that I've been here before. I know what I'm buying. I know what I like. And you have just told me that I am more to you than just another transaction. You get the point, right? This simple piece of formatting can actually increase your customer buy-in. So customer buy-in is when a customer feels connected with your brand, they feel more loyal, and they're more likely to come back and tell other people about you. Now, setting up conditional formatting really does take just a few minutes inside of your email marketing platform. And yes, we do love Klaviyo, but make sure you check out and see if your email marketing platform can do this as well. But if you can get a customer to come back just one more time than they normally would, and if you can avoid that churn for just one more purchase, not only will you have made more money, but in the process, you'll have connected with that customer, you'll have cemented your brand in their mind, and that is the secret sauce that gets customers to refer you to friends, to mention your store or your website inside of Facebook groups when someone asks for a suggestion, and ultimately, it builds your social proof. So what are you waiting for? Set aside a few minutes this week to put those personal touch points in place for your customers so that you can make more impact and in the process make more money, because essentially that's why we're in business. And if we aren't making any money, we aren't going to be in business for too long now, are we? Okay, that was not a huge episode, but I wanted to share it with you because it can make such a big difference in your business. And if you're looking to make changes in your business and you're wondering what is holding you back, if you're putting loads of effort in and you just can't seem to move forward, then head on over to selinaknight.com/quiz and take my super fun but amazingly accurate quiz that will help you to uncover what is holding you back from awesome. If you're ready to go from super to superstar, this quick quiz that you can take in less time than it takes to boil the kettle will unlock the number one thing that's holding you back, and I'll even show you how you can conquer it. Head over to selinaknight.com/quiz and let me know, what was your result? I can't wait to speak to you next week on the podcast. Have a great week. Bye. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Bringing Business to Retail podcast. You can find all of the show notes over at selinaknight.com. If you found something that you heard today particularly useful, I'd love it if you could leave me a review on iTunes or Stitcher. And of course, feel free to share this episode with someone that you think could benefit by listening to it. Want more retail biz strategies? You can watch the Bringing Business to Retail TV show, where each week I'll answer a question or provide you with a simple, actionable retail biz strategy that you can implement in your business right away. If you have a question or a guest, I'd love to hear from you. Drop my team an email at podcast@selinaknight.com, and I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great week.